Hey guys, it's Old Man G here, back again with another Red Devil Studio live podcast. And I'm joined again by Josh
Yo.
and Shawnee.
G'day.
And it's gonna be a short episode this time. Obviously, there haven't been any Premier League fixtures or anything like that. But there are just a few things that we want to just talk about, some big things, some small things. And hopefully there'll be a lot of you watching, and hopefully we can have a good show. So let's basically just get stuck into it. So I think one of the big bits of piece of news that's come out obviously in the last 24 to 40 hours is regarding this dude here, this man,
Messi, yeah.
and basically it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Obviously, Kobe Bryant, famous basketballer, really ahead of his time in his game, his performance. Even though it's a football channel, I know most football fans know the name. MVP, debated as potentially one of the greatest alongside Michael Jordan and LeBron James. And unfortunately, he died in a tragic helicopter accident along with his daughter and several other people. So I just thought it was just important to just say our thoughts and our prayers of everyone involved at this moment in time. And just to remind everyone, the nature of life, that life is short, so, and that we need to be thankful for the time that we're given on this earth. So really tragic set of circumstances, and I said our thoughts are with everyone involved in spent. So, and but yes, a legend has passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
R.I.P. indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always sad, like when you see an athlete of his caliber. I mean, it's even someone that doesn't. Probably the least person that I know in my entire life. I don't know anything about basketball, but I know who Kobe Bryant is, and yeah, I use the name Kobe as a meme, like when I throw stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I think everybody does. Yeah.
yeah, so like I don't even and to be fair, now that you've brought the picture up, obviously I know who he is over the last couple of days. But if you would have said to me like, "Oh, point out Kobe Bryant in this picture," I wouldn't have been able to. But yeah, so just very very sad.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, and certainly I think it's not one of the first regarding helicopters incidents to be honest. So although this was obviously in the US versus the Leicester City owner and Salah in the UK, so but
Yeah.
basically rest in peace, Kobe is basically the point. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Amen.
We will move on. Okay. 2 seconds. We will move on to talk about one Jurgenus Kloppicus. Jurgenus Kloppicus. And the controversy he seems to be stirring, as he always seems to be stirring, Jurgen. And Klopp versus the FA, I think, is the big thing here. And Jurgen Klopp has said in a statement, that he's not going to put out any first teamers against Shrewsbury in the replay at Anfield, because the replay is held within the winter break rest and the players need to rest. The FA have come out and said, well, all managers and all teams knew beforehand that potential replays could be scheduled during that rest period. And Klopp has said that he's going to respect the rest week, and Liverpool Football Club have backed Klopp. So I wonder what you guys think, really, so in this era, because Klopp has really said he's putting his line, the foot in the sand. He's been a very vocal advocate on there being too many games in the Premier League, there not being enough rest for players. I guess the first thing is, do you think that Klopp is right? Do you think that Klopp is wrong? If you do think he's right, why? And then what should just be done about this whole situation? So I'll go to Shawnee first.
Yeah. No, I think I think the reason why he was so vocal about it, first of all, was because it was fresh off drawing 2-2 with Shrewsbury. And it sort of it adds to the annoyance of having once again an extra game. So I'm an advocate for giving them a rest as well. I mean, who doesn't want a rest at a winter break around Christmas? We all do. I pretty much don't have a summer break. I work right the way through the year, but at Christmas time, I actually have time off to spend with the family. So he's thinking along them sort of lines. It's just draining. It's not just. I mean, it's damaging to footballers to play in such a short space of time. He couldn't possibly put out a full team on Thursday, then Wednesday. Sorry, a full team on sorry, that's my dog barking. Full team on Wednesday, a full team on Saturday. No, Sunday we played, didn't we? And then a full team again on Wednesday. It's just way too much. Yeah. So like I have given the players a little tiny bit of a rest and just allowing them to recuperate. It's not a lot to ask, really. And it's true what you're saying. Obviously, we all have to. Every team has to play by, not just Liverpool. Man City is affected by it. You know, Man United. Everyone that's challenging for, whatever place in the Premier League that they're challenging for is going to be challenged by that period and trying to keep players fit. So you just have to keep going. Like I understand why managers keep bringing it up, because hopefully in the future, eventually at some stage, they'll think someone somewhere will listen. Like, look, there's too many Premier League managers talking about this. Let's just see if we can get a break going and do exactly what some of the other leagues do.
Yeah, fair enough. Josh, did you have anything to say about that?
No, he's well within his right to speak, and we were talking earlier. It just shows. I mean, because Liverpool are, arguably the best team in the world right now. Like, they're running away with the Premier League. They've got a decent tie in the Champions League. So that in terms of like success, they're flying at the minute. But Klopp isn't a person who is like governed by his success, or else like he probably would have quit by now. Before he got to that, won the Champions League, how many finals did he get to? How many this and this did he get to? And he didn't win. He isn't a man who is just like so solely focused on success. Like, you can tell like he cares for the players. And I think that's the difference. He isn't saying this because it's unfair that we have to play extra game or this and this. He's just genuinely concerned about the players. So it's just nice to see that as a football fan, like a manager who is caring like that. So we just hope that moving forward, something might happen. No, I'm not saying it will, because it's these rats are like, but we'll just see. We'll just see that.
I think the big thing that is almost that this has been going. I mean, Jurgen Klopp probably said that. I think the first minute he came into England, he said that this was a big issue, and the big problem is that like ex pundits, FFA, a lot of people will just keep on saying, "Oh, it's England. It's just the way that we do things here." Like, we have a winter, it's traditional. Stop changing all the rest of it, and blah blah blah. And then these same England players, when we have like a European and World Cup championship, then belittle why England don't perform well, don't give the rest, and all the rest of it. So when you already look now, and you're looking at the fact that, like, who, for example, are England going to play the number 9 when Marcus Rashford and Harry Kane are basically are out injured? Who's going to be England's number 9?
Daniel Sturridge.
Daniel Sturridge. It's not a bad shout. I thought they're going to get Jermaine Defoe from Rangers, to be honest. Because I don't know anyone else really that, like, maybe Troy Deeney or Callum Wilson, possibly. Jamie Vardy's already said he's not coming out of retirement. So they're left. You're literally left with those options because I just think it would be suicide after Rashford and Kane have been injured for so long to be like, yep, you guys are like stepping in now. Like I just think that would be wrong.
Yeah, it's true because I mean, it's. I mean, you even had players like Berahino, who from West Brom, lining up for that number 9 spot at one stage, but now we just seem to have, yeah. But we kind of just have like a shortage in that department at the moment. We never used to have a shortage in that department. We had like Kane, Vardy, Sturridge was a contender. I don't think he's a contender now because he's not getting game time anywhere because he's just either constantly injured or he's just trying to find form. And it's just seems to be a legitimate problem at the minute. Finding youngsters or finding just anyone in England that's capable of leading that role in England. So yeah, it's a tough one. I don't really at the moment. I don't envy the England job at all. It's not just that. It's trying to find a decent England squad in general, I think.
Fine. Well, one thing before we actually move on is, do you think the format of the FA Cup should be changed? Because I'm looking at the Copa del Rey, and they've obviously changed the format recently, where they basically just scrapped every single like a replay up until the semi-finals, where like there'll be a two-legged semi-final affair, and at the very least up until about the I think it's the second round, all the La Liga teams are basically put into the pot to face bottom teams. So I just do wonder, so whether the FA Cup could take a leap out of the Liga and say, well, one of the ways to bring about this fixtureless congestion is to basically get rid of every FA Cup replay from the beginning, and rather than waiting for the 5th round of the FA Cup, which
it would make it more exciting that way.
Sorry?
It would make it more exciting that way.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think the bigger teams, bigger Premier League teams enter, I think, is it the 4th round? Is it, or the 3rd round? I can't remember.
4th round, I'm sure.
Round, yeah. So if they're opening in from the second round, not only is it good because it's happening early in the season, so that's one thing. But also, if you get rid of the replays, then potentially, okay, Watford decide they go out, fine, second round, great, okay, they have the FA Cup. Now they don't have to worry about, that for the rest of the season, So,
yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think about that? Should they change the FA Cup in that respect? Get rid of replays?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be up for it. Obviously, you'd have exactly the opposition would be the people that hate VAR, for instance. There's a huge amount of people who hate VAR, and not that many people that are okay with it. I'm the opposite. I'd be fine in dropping them rounds if it's going to make it easier on the players, make the FA Cup all around a little bit more exciting. Because let's face it, the FA Cup has lost its shine.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. If at the end of the season we have the FA Cup in our trophy cabinet, great, fine. If it's not there, big deal. The main one nowadays is the Premier League, Champions League. If we come home with them, then it's just been an absolute banging season. If there's an FA Cup in there, yeah, great. There's like an FA Cup in there as well, but I'm not really massively a huge FA Cup fan. For me,
I wish they could use it as like. What I wish they could do is like take away 4th spot and say if you win the FA Cup, you get like a Champions League place. Then people start taking it seriously, and then if a big team wins it, then 4th spot then becomes that Champions League place. If that makes any sense.
Oh my day! Sorry, guys.
So it's
my goodness.
Arsenal game. Anyway, go on.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So I'd be over the moon to let something like that happen. If they're going to drop the replay games of the FA Cup and just have it, because if you think about it, it's still a drain on the players anyway, having to go through extra time if they're drawing, having to go through penalties and all that kind of thing. So it's still the same level of football. It's just that if you drop an extra round, you have a break of the games. Like Liverpool wouldn't. We would have finished that game on Saturday. We wouldn't have to think about the replay.
Yeah.
Now there's an extra game being added. That's where I think the frustration came in for Klopp. I don't think he was frustrated that that we drew. He was frustrated because there was another game added. Yeah. Now he has to field the kids again.
Yeah.
Because he can't risk, because obviously Champions League and Premier League are leaps and bounds above the FA Cup. Like I say, FA Cup's lost its shine. Not many teams really go all in for the FA Cup. Just teams that aren't really aiming for anything greater than the FA Cup, you know. And that's no disrespect to them teams.
Sorry, Josh?
I said, who won the FA Cup last year?
Who did win the FA Cup last year?
It wasn't City, was it? No, it was...
Yeah, it was City. Yeah, domestic treble, wasn't it?
Well, so there you go.
Yeah. So
there you go. So like I said, I mean, I had to let you guys figure that one out. I was just like, did I even watch it? I don't think I did. I think I watched like glimpses of it.
It was a Watford battering final, and everyone was just kind of like, yeah. No one really was, because it was like such a humiliating like loss. It was kind of like this isn't an advertisement for the FA Cup at all. So for all the hype, giving City a bye to basically the FA Cup final, but not playing any like Premier League. Like, did City get drawn a Premier League team? Has that City actually been drawn a Premier League team since they've been in the FA Cup draw?
I don't know. They just don't get drawn anything.
When they get to the final.
Yeah, until they get to the final, you know, so in some weak Premier. Anyway, let's move on. I think it's a watch this space, but I think we generally seem to all agree that we agree with Klopp in that that Premier League teams that do deserve rest, that week should actually be rest week should be respected, and that it's possible that the FA Cup should look at scrapping all replays, you know, so and giving players rest. So that's what I think. That's what we all think. This is the question. Right. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Moving on to our next topic. So just quickly go here. Oh, well, we'll quickly talk about this guy, actually, Haaland, before we move on to Messi. So Haaland, Erling Haaland, Bundesliga, scores a brace, actually.
Yeah.
And I think the simple question is, yes or no, it's been 2 games, but is this guy the real deal? Is this guy still 2 more alone? Is this guy the real deal now? Is this someone that we now need to start, you know, taking a bit more seriously? You know, so what do you guys think?
Hat-trick on his debut, brace, and from the bench, and then brace on his next game from the bench.
He's a good player. He's a great player. You'd have him at your club.
Oh yeah. Like you could say he's a one-hit. I mean, obviously we need to see another season in him. You know, we know that, but for consistency. But you could say he's a fluke. Okay, he scored loads of goals in the Austrian league. Okay, it's a fluke. And then he scores loads of goals in the Champions League. He breaks how many records? And he's like, oh yeah, but you know, it could just be the group or something like that. He scored a lot of goals against Genk. And then he just comes to the Bundesliga, which is it's a tough league. Like the pace is, you know, it's a lot different. It's probably the closest thing to the Premier League that isn't the Premier League. And this guy scores 5 goals in his first 2 games. Like, damn! If he's not the real deal, then who is?
Yeah.
What a player! And
you can see from the quality of the goals he scored as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's not like it was like a hat trick of off the knee or something goals. It was just great positioning and accurate shooting.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player.
Yeah,
Brilliant
agreed.
Player.
So I guess the question this is a question that will be interesting, especially with the Champions League not around the corner, is that Dortmund are playing PSG in the obviously next round. Well, and we'll do our Champions League preview obviously closer to the week before. But can this guy be the difference? Because we
It'd
know
be
how
interesting,
PSG
wouldn't it?
altered, and although PSG have Mbappe and Neymar, could Haaland be the difference between Dortmund actually getting through PSG?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because obviously PSG are probably thinking to themselves, Dortmund, like they ain't that good. Like their defense is low key trash, and you know
It still is, frankly.
this could be our time, you know. But with this guy coming through, they're probably thinking themselves, "Damn, we've probably got a little bit more of a task on our hands than we think," you know. He's a handful. Like he's strong. I don't think who are PSG centre backs. They got Kimpembe and no, it's Thiago Silva and Marquinhos, right? You know, Thiago Silva's aging a little bit, although legend. Like he'll always go down as one of the best centre backs ever. You know, he played for Inter and clubs like that. But I don't know. This is going to be tricky, especially. I know the first leg is at Dortmund. And that yellow wall, man, I don't know. That can be quite daunting. I don't know if PSG players have the metal in them to. They could get an away goal, which would be crucial.
I think they probably will get an away goal. But
yeah, against the yellow wall, I mean, it could be. I don't know, man. We'll see how Haaland gets on because obviously he's proved himself in the group stages. We'll see if he can continue his form in the knockout stages. It'll be interesting, regardless. Like, there's so many interesting legs. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. I mean, whatever, it's going to be exciting. It's one of the better ties to watch. PSG versus Dortmund. It's going to be great. Haaland's definitely going to be in their sights. They're going to think to themselves, "Yeah, let's crack down on Haaland."
Yeah,
which creates space for Sancho.
What a player!
It's gonna, Dortmund have built themselves a really great attack. Absolutely. United should have maybe pushed a little harder to get hold of that man, because that would have really helped you out right now.
It would have, but I mean, you know, we have an incompetent businessman as running our head of finances. But this is not going to be United rant. That's not going to be United. There is plenty of there's plenty of time for. Let me just quickly, just because while we're on the topic of Haaland, let's actually just quickly look actually at the Bundesliga table as we speak, and I'll just get that to show one and just talk about, because it looks incredibly close. It's really tight. I've got it up here, as you can all see it now, and you see that Leipzig actually is on top with 40 points.
Wow. Yeah. Look at that.
39, 19, Gladbach 38, Dortmund 36, Bayer Leverkusen 34, and Schalke 33 with Hoffenheim. Oh, so and bear in mind that, and this is the thing, you know, so I mean, I know maybe this is controversial, I mean, for maybe some United fans, but if Nagelsmann wins the Bundesliga with Leipzig, United need to get him as manager. They do. They do. If he somehow wins and breaks this Bayern dominance, you know, then United need to get him, and he needs to be manager ASAP. You know? For me, he'd be the preference, even more so over Pochettino, just in terms of the way that they play, they play football. I think it's more preferable than Poch is, even though I think Poch is a good manager. But Nagelsmann would be if he wins the Bundesliga, you know, just with the squad and the players he get, and obviously if he's backed. But I mean, just going back to Haaland, you know, do you think that you look at Dortmund there? They're like, looks like they're 4 points off top. They're only 3 points, to be fair, behind Bayern. Although look at the run of form. The run of Bayern, if you look at the 5 games, Bayern have won all 5. You know, so whereas Dortmund have won 3 out of 5, lost 1, drawn 1, Leipzig won 3, lost 1, drawn 1, and Gladbach have lost 2, won 2, drawn. So Bayern are the ones who are in form team right now. Can any of these teams around Bayern, can any of them overcome them?
Well, I mean, it just depends on if Leipzig keeps going. Bayern have 5 wins and 5, so that you can see that their momentum is at a peak right now. So you'd be tipping them to just keep going, because they, at the end of the day, they do have the quality in the side. They do still have, the Lewandowski, who does turn up on big games. So like if they're facing someone like Dortmund or Leipzig, for instance, he'd be the sort of player to pull them through that. Where Leipzig don't really have that, they don't really have that. I don't know, I guess, strength in that area. Where Dortmund now do. They've had the 2 games where Haaland's turned up, and they're the 2 games that they've won. So you don't know, they might be picking up momentum now as well, and they might make a push. And it might be between Dortmund and Bayern and Leipzig. Mönchengladbach, I don't know. Like I think eventually they'll start falling away. Maybe that's already beginning to happen now. And then it would just be a battle between them 3, which is still exciting. Three teams challenging for the Bundesliga. That hasn't really happened since Klopp's been there. So it's gonna be really interesting. It's a really fascinating title race, especially with Mönchengladbach. I mean, even like Bayer and Schalke, it's not like they're a million miles away.
No.
So you've got like six teams there that are a threat at least. Really exciting. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean Schalke is 33 for that. So that is only 7 points obviously off top. So and was it Bayern 6? So no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I think this is going to be one of those watch these space ones. So but and I guess before we move on, I just last because this will factor into the next conversation is that do you actually think a German team has a chance of getting to the semi-final of the Champions League or even winning the Champions League this season?
Let's see. So who got through? All
So Leipzig is through. Bayern is through. And Dortmund are through. As far as I'm aware, it's just those 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well, obviously, the Schalke. I feel like I'm not sure. I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either. Yeah.
But, I mean, you've got 3 teams. So you've got a decent chance.
Yeah.
Just, Dortmund have to get past PSG. That's a tough ask. Bayern. Who are Bayern playing again? Is it an easy draw? It's not Chelsea, is it?
It is Chelsea. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well.
So that's a buy right now. Team, that is a buy. That is a buy.
And Leipzig finished top, and I forgot who they drew.
Spurs.
So it's gonna basically what if a German team does get past that first round of 16 or whatever, they're gonna have to do it the hard way. They're really gonna have to do it the hard way. So, but if they get past those 2, you wouldn't. Those 3, sorry. If any of those teams come past that, could you couldn't really doubt them because those are some tough teams you'd be beating. So you'd have to fancy at least one of them getting to maybe the semis. But then experience comes into it, and players who bottle in the knockout stages, i.e. Lewandowski. So we'll see if
he turns up in them sort of games.
Yeah, we'll see if he can turn up.
Bayer got knocked out. I was just looking at some of the other German teams. So Bayer got knocked out by Juventus. So that was the other German team that was
Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Leverkusen. So Leverkusen, are they in the Europa?
Yeah, Leverkusen, I think, in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Let's quickly move on. And sorry, give me seconds. We're gonna talk about Messi.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about Messi and Barcelona because obviously we know that they've got a new manager now, and things aren't going so well so far. Anyway, we'll see. But a 2-0 loss to Valencia the weekend. And 80% possession. Yes, everyone's saying yes. The new manager is playing the right way, the Barcelona way. Everything is fine. Everything is great. So it's I think Barcelona had 80%, 60% possession, but the reality is that they didn't have that many shots on goal in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second half, they had maybe slightly more in the opposition, whereas Valencia only had a handful, but they were all on target. And they got 2 goals. And the possession that Barcelona playing was sideways, backwards dominance, but not really any end product. So I guess the question here really with going to Messi and always is it's not so much, can Messi carry Barcelona, but is this an issue with, because Barcelona have spent in excess of like 500 million plus in the last 2-3 years on players. They bought Griezmann, they bought Dembele, they bought Frankie de Jong, they bought was it Coutinho as well, and a few others. So they've reinforced, they've strengthened, but it doesn't seem to have worked for them in recent times. Is this an issue with the management, or is this issue of the hierarchy that Barcelona are bound to play a specific structure, and if you don't play it, then you're screwed. What do you guys think?
Could be a mixture of both. Yeah,
I watched that game, and Barcelona's defense was shocking.
Right,
like shocking.
Mm.
PK passed it like 5 years ago. Like, I don't get how they haven't replaced him since. Was it PK in Umtiti, or was it PK in Longley? I can't remember. Regardless, like they need like 2 new centre backs.
I'm fine with them not replacing him because I know who they'll be looking at.
Why? I mean, they can try, but like, why would anyone want to leave Liverpool on their own accord? Like, unless they were like not playing at all, which I can understand. But like, I don't know, you get an FA Cup, you'll still get a bloody Premier League medal, won't you? And then you can leave. So like, I don't see like going to Barcelona. I know it'll be a dream come true. Like, would be a massive step down, right, in this current state that Barcelona is. I watched that game and just wow, like it just like without Messi, Barcelona are shocking.
Can Barcelona win? Can Barcelona win the Champions League this season?
No chance. Literally no chance. Because let's be honest, Messi has carried them through every single Champions League. Obviously, I know Suarez gets goals and other people get goals, but Messi, when Messi wants to turn up, he can turn up. And I know he didn't against Fulham, but
apparently Ter Stegen as well as he was turning up. I mean, Ter Stegen penalty.
Ter Stegen.
There's an element that if it wasn't for Ter Stegen, this could have been a battering for Barcelona.
Yeah, well, people say there's always arguments on YouTube comments saying that Ter Stegen is the best keeper in the world. Who's Alisson? Blah blah blah. Which is a fair point because Barcelona's defense is shocking and Liverpool's defense is good. But I think Alisson is still the better overall keeper. But yeah, it's very close. Like, I would say Alisson then Ter Stegen. I wouldn't mind if people want to debate Ter Stegen being best because he's a fantastic keeper. But yeah.
So is this an end of an era for Barcelona? Do you guys think?
Because we all knew the Barcelona of how many players came through that academy, man. The Xavis, the Iniestas, Messi, you name it. These players are. You'll probably never see players like that again.
Yeah,
there's no Xavi reincarnate. There's no Iniesta reincarnate. Like, let's be honest. There's been ones close and people saying this, and this. But you'll never find players like that. The thing is, if you're going to go that route that they did, it's going to take time because promoting academy players does take time. Like Man United are good at it, Arsenal are good at it, Liverpool are decent at it. But Klopp's been there. How long? 4 years.
Close to his 4th season, I think. Yes.
Yeah. So these things take time. at the end of the day. And are Barcelona patient enough to do that? What world-class centre-backs are there right now that they can just go and spend 100 million on? So yeah.
Don't even think about it.
So, Sean, do you have anything to add to that, or we'll move on? I think we want to watch these spaces.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Honestly, they always are. They'll.
Now Real Madrid, and I guess this is off point to Real Madrid. Real Madrid are now top of the Liga now.
Yeah, three points ahead. Yeah.
Points. So do you think? I mean, because looking at it, people were cussing Zidane and saying, he wasn't good enough, etc. So he was actually one of the funnels to be sacked. And now, now he's not. So, do you think that Real Madrid have to shout?
Yeah, Real Madrid. I've never ruled out Real Madrid really. For the Liga to challenge the Liga. I wouldn't rule Barcelona out either though. It's always been tight between them two, and I just think that Barca haven't had the best run, not in the best form right now. Real Madrid have picked it up a little bit. They've got 2 draws and 2 wins in their last 5 games. Barcelona have got 2 draws and 1 loss. That's the difference. So they've got 1 loss and 2 wins, 2 draws. So the difference between them is just that 1 loss. So it's not massive. Real Madrid could lose their next game, and then it's level again. It's not like a crisis. I think they'll do some business in the summer like they always do, and then you just don't know. Maybe you don't know what was going to happen to the manager. They're always going to be looking for the best. They're a show pony team, aren't they? They always want the latest and best thing. That's why they got Suarez. That's why they got Griezmann, and they'll do exactly the same thing in the summer. Whether that's another midfielder or whoever it is, they'll be fine. Honestly, they're always a team that will just keep going, keep getting the best, and they'll always be the ones challenging for Champions League and La Liga titles.
Fair enough. Okay, so with that said, let's move on to our next topic. And with one legend, we go obviously to another. Now, let me see if I can get this correctly. Yes, this is it. This dude, Cristiano Ronaldo at Juventus. Juventus also lost. But can Ronaldo deliver? Is the question? Can Ronaldo actually deliver? So for Juventus, because he scored the only goal. Juventus are still atop of Serie A because Inter Milan weren't able to capitalize. Can Cristiano Ronaldo and Juventus can seal the Serie A and beat rivals Inter Milan? And can Cristiano carry Juventus to a Champions League? He seems to be picking up his form and scoring more goals. What do you guys think?
It's a possibility. I don't know. They seem to just sort of be up and down throughout the season in the actual Serie A table. But now that they've picked their form up and they are where they really should be, because they're the ones that have the most quality in their team. Let's face it. I mean, throughout the whole team at Juventus there, whether it's you're looking at Dybala or the centre back, what's his name? Koulibaly, is it?
No, Koulibaly is at Napoli.
Yeah, no,
Bonucci.
Yeah,
is at Juventus. Yeah, Bonucci and
Bonucci is trash. He's a rat as well. On top of that,
the year of the rat.
They've got Demiral and Delit as well.
Yeah, that's not great though. But yeah.
I mean, that's it. Still, they have the most quality throughout their team in the Serie A table. So really, they should maintain this to win this. Can they challenge for the Champions League? I think they've just got as good a chance as any. Really, I think the last teams, you have the usual suspects there. and they're
That's
one
true.
of the usual suspects. So
That's true.
yeah, you could I wouldn't rule Juventus out. So we'll see at the end, I guess. But yeah, they're definitely a challenge. Ronaldo, a few podcasts ago, they were like going, "Oh, is Ronaldo finished?" and all this kind of stuff. We were having a discussion about him, and I was one of the ones most vocal about him, saying that listen, he's not. He'll pick this up. He'll use the hate and everything that the newspaper is saying and people across the world, and he'll come back and. Yeah, he'll always do things like that. If people are throwing hate against him, he'll respond with scoring a hat trick or whatever in the Champions League or in Serie. So I don't think there's too much to worry about for Juventus. They just have to keep going. Yeah, they've lost. Just put that loss behind you. Just look to the next game. They still have the best record. Out of 5 games, 1 loss, 4 wins.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I think Arsenal and United would easily take that.
I guess Lazio maybe have the best recent record in 4 wins, and that is a team that has surprised me. Lazio, and to be fair, if they win their game in hand, which is possible, they'll go to 49 points, and they'll be 2 points behind Juventus. So you're essentially seeing, and I said this a few podcasts before. Is this a potential 3-way title race? So I don't think Roma are there, although Roma. At least might get a Champions League spot, but could possibly Lazio be, the dent, as it were, in this whole process, especially with Juventus obviously dropping points. It was Napoli they lost, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, 2-1 to Napoli, I think. And Lazio could easily obviously beat this Juventus side. So I think it's one of these watch this space. I don't think it's. I don't think the Serie title is done and done as of yet. So it would be nice to see like an Inter or Lazio just dethrone Juventus. But I think a lot of that is going to come from depth of squad and how far these teams go into respective competition, especially when Champions League resumes again. Anyone else have anything to say about that at all, or does that all make sense to everybody?
It makes sense.
No, I'm happy with that.
Just final predictions to everyone, just so I get the next segment up. Do you think that Juventus will win Serie A this season?
It's a tough one because it's tight. Yeah, right.
You're going with Inter.
I'm going with my heart.
You're going with your heart.
Yeah, I just want Inter. I want Inter so badly.
Well, you went with your heart with Arsenal. Look what happened there.
I will. I'll find you. I know where you live.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
right.
I think Juventus for me. Old man G, where are you at?
I'm gonna say I'll go Lazio.
I'll find you.
I'll go Lazio. I will say I'll throw in. I'll go Lazio because Lazio. Lazio. Who in third?
Yeah.
You never know when if you're picking up as Alex Ferguson used to do. It was like, before obviously Klopp has done his thing. It's like it was never really about the early games. It was always about like this period from January to like May. This was the period when the season started, when you needed to win all your games back to back. And if Lazio are in the best run of form right now, especially I don't think they're not playing Europa League as far as I'm aware. They're not playing Champions League either. So they'll have time week in, week out to play. If the form is good, then they could easily be a threat, So we shall see. Right, our final segment. So this is a brief show. We're going to basically just preview the upcoming game week games. So this is obviously game week 25. We'll give you some brief fantasy football tips as well. And first things first, just finishing up the previous game week, and we'll go to Shawnee here. West Ham at home hosting Liverpool. That's obviously this Wednesday coming. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Liverpool are going to have an easier task than they did against Wolves, that's for sure, because Wolves played absolutely brilliantly, absolutely fantastic. Once again, everyone rises to the Liverpool challenge. So there's not one team that we've come across yet that's just rolled over, and it's always been a really tough fight. Whether it's Man United, even Sheffield United. We played Wolves at the beginning of January. We played Wolves just here. West Ham, make no mistake about it, they lost their last game. I think no, sorry, they lost their last game, which I think is a bit of a bummer because now they're sort of looking to bounce back from that loss. Every manager always asks their team to do that, and it just so happens to be Liverpool. It could be one of those things where the manager goes into the dressing room, says, "Look, lads, we can put our whole season back on track. We could get a snatch and grab at Liverpool, get our season back on the road, get well away from this relegation zone. Let's use this." It's always dangerous to have a team motivated like that, which really no one's expecting West Ham to win. I don't think anyone in the world is expecting West Ham to win this one. So all the pressure's off West Ham, really.
Liverpool are saving their loss for Arsenal in May. So yeah, so they're not going to let anyone beat them until then.
Until May.
We will punish them.
Josh, just to be clear, Josh is talking about May the following season.
We will make them pay for even trying to do an invincible season.
So, and then Arsenal will cease to be a relevant football club, unfortunately. So once that's it, but there we go. Anyway, moving on. Let's quickly. So score prediction. Sorry, Shawnee, and goals.
Okay. So like I say, tough game. I don't think any of these are going to be hugely scoring games. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's we're playing them away as well, so it's always a tough place to go. Still, I'm expecting Liverpool to win. I don't think West Ham are going to score. I did say that about Wolves, but in all honesty, I wasn't expecting Wolves to score. And when I saw Jimenez bang that one in, I could only just take my hat off and just say full credit. That's well done. Still, I can't see West Ham scoring against us. I think once again we're going to use that to bounce back and just say that someone got a goal past us. Let's show them that nobody else can. And I'm going to go with a comfortable. It's going to be 2-0 for predominantly most of the game, and then we'll score one right at the end. I'll go for 3-0. 3-0 Liverpool.
3-0 Liverpool. Okay, well, with Mane injured, here's hoping, I guess. Here is hope. Okay.
Yeah, it will either be Divock or Minamino. Either one of them is going to be exciting. In fact, Origi getting a bit of football in, it's not going to do him any harm whatsoever, especially with the tough run of FA Cup and Champions League games.
Well, he'll score a brace in a Champions League semi-final, so we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, moving on to the upcoming things. We'll go to Joshy here. So 12:30 on Saturday, Leicester City versus Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea are decent away from home. I can't exactly remember the result the last time. I don't know if I could pull that up really quick.
Leicester won, from what I can gather. Leicester won.
Okay. I mean, and that was at home. Chelsea being a bit funny at home this season. Losing to Bournemouth and teams like that. I think regardless, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. Leicester starting to lose their way a little bit, I think.
Even
that win at the weekend was a little bit strange.
Not to mention the Burnley issue that I just think they just fell apart. Really, I thought that
was strange. Yeah,
that was very, very strange.
Yeah,
it's very, very, very banterful, frankly. So
yeah.
But Chelsea also have had a lot of really weird losses. And
Leicester can push away here. Do some people below Chelsea some favours. Leicester can push away even further. Maybe solidify their kind of third/second spot. Predictions. Predictions. I'm going with. I don't even know, man. I don't know if I can predict this one. I'm gonna go 2-2.
Draw.
2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I guess I will take Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. Fair play to Bournemouth. Last game they actually really sort of fought. It was Brighton, I think they won. They beat, and they really needed that win, frankly, because obviously they're battling relegation and stuff like that. But Villa also are battling relegation, so this is going to be I think going to be a very, very, very big game because this is going to be a 6-pointer game for both sides. Both of these teams need 3 points, and I think whoever doesn't win this is going to be a huge blow for their relegation prospects. Bournemouth are at home, but Bournemouth's home doesn't necessarily give them necessarily an advantage. You know, right now Bournemouth have got the 18th have got 23 points, and Villa are 16th, just outside of it, but they've got 25 points. So essentially, whoever wins this game will go back into the relegation zone or come out of the. So whoever wins it will come out of the relegation zone. Whoever loses it will probably go back into it.
Yeah,
it's really a tough one to call, to be honest. My heart says Bournemouth, but my head says Villa, and I say that just because I think that defensively Villa are better than Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Not massively, but I just think with what goes on with you know, with the handball situation and just the way that I've seen Bournemouth defending at times, it's been just bad. So I think I'm going to give it 1-0 to Villa. I think 1-0 to Villa. I think Bournemouth, unless defensively they shape up, I think they're going to struggle. Is that reasonable? I think.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so back to Joshi. So Crystal Palace versus Sheffield United. This is another big one.
My goodness, I don't know if it's a good one. Because Crystal Palace games can be boring, you know, the way they set up. Both teams might cancel each other out here. I don't think it I want it to be an entertaining game, but I don't think it will be.
Good for fantasy football then. Maybe get some Sheffield United centre backs and goalkeepers
possibly.
in.
I mean, I've put Lundstrom in, so I was going to put in what's his face, the keeper Henderson, but I think I might go Dubravka. But yeah, guys, honestly, I want to say 0-0.
A boring 0-0.
Yeah, I think they might cancel each other out. Honestly,
yeah.
But yeah, that's my prediction.
Okay, so Shawnee, so obviously back to Liverpool at home to Southampton. Danny Ings. Danny Ings coming back. What do you think?
And he's in form as well.
He scored against Liverpool last time they played.
Yeah, he did score against Liverpool last time they played. It's just he's a real quality player. That's why Liverpool bought him. Surprised that, you know, maybe even someone like United didn't look at him. I don't think Liverpool would have sold him to United, but you know, he's a quality striker. Maybe a shout for England. So I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Southampton are picking it up a little bit this now at this stage of the season, just at the right part of this season. Because if I'm not mistaken, they're actually doing really, really well now.
Yeah, I mean, they were rock bottom.
They were actually rock bottom, and now they're above Arsenal. I think they're like 9th.
Southampton. Yes, Southampton 9th with 31 points and Arsenal 10th with 30 points.
That's a massive turnaround.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the league actually. In fact, let me just quickly show everyone the league actually, just to see how well you can maybe say maybe the quality of the league isn't great, or how close it is, or the distance. But if you look at the Premier League table, numero uno here, if we just scroll down to 5th, where United are, where Chelsea are, you just look, and Man United are 5th with 34 points. And then if you look all the way down to 14th, Newcastle are 14th with 30 points. There's only 4 points separating 14th place and 5th place.
That's amazing, isn't it? Really,
and you have
so close.
And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams all on 30 points, which is Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Everton,
what a strange table,
and Newcastle.
What a strange
That's
table,
unbelievable, isn't it?
You know, with Southampton, Sheffield, and obviously Wolves and ahead. You know, so. But going back, obviously, to things. So what score predictions, Shawnee?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a close one. Once again, I don't know. Like, I just Liverpool have done so well lately, keeping a clean sheet, and I know that Wolves put a bit of a damper on it. I hope that Klopp will get in their heads again, just like say, look, let's not let this happen again. And we have been fantastic, and our defensive record has really, really bumped up throughout the season. So I just want to say that I don't think Southampton are going to score either, but I don't know. Realistically, they have more of a better chance than West Ham do. We're at Anfield, though. Danny Ings is going to get a great reception. That might Liverpool fans, they're always brilliant with players that have gone back to the original. Well, yeah, Sterling, yeah.
Except
but
Sterling.
he was sort of like the standout player. But apart from that, we've always treated other players with a huge respect. So, brilliant, yeah. Like I'll give Southampton a bit of credit there. I'll say that they will score, and I'll just say that it's going to be a 3-1 victory.
3-1 victory. Okay, fair enough. Okay, moving back to Joshi. So Newcastle United versus Norwich City. Newcastle at home, obviously.
Yeah, I think Norwich they could be done. You know, Newcastle are they above Arsenal or just below?
Newcastle are on the same points as Arsenal, but they are below them on goal difference.
I think Newcastle are actually quite fun to watch this season. They might not play the best football, but like they fight till the end, and I love that about them. You know, you were explaining earlier that they kind of sign like people who are willing to fight, you know, for 90 minutes. Almiron, he might not have amazing goals and blah, 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 but he'll run all game. And sometimes you need that right until the end of the game. He assisted Lejeune for one of those goals that they scored against Everton. So I think convincingly here, Newcastle will win 2-0.
Nice.
But yeah, get some Newcastle players in your team. But yeah, that's what 2-0, I think.
It's difficult with Newcastle because I think Newcastle should win. The problem is that, like, I feel like when they play better, when they are like the underdogs or not expected to get a result, they'll be expected to get a result. I feel watching them this season, when they're expected to get a result, they don't get a result. If that makes any sense, you know. So when they're expected to, or they're going away from home, all the rest of it, it's like, yeah, you know, they get something. But when people now expect them to do one on Norwich, and it's like, nah, actually, we're taking the day off. And that seems to be it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Norwich did get something from this game, because of Newcastle's like complacency. That seems to seep in when they're not expected to get a result. But no, fair enough, Josh. Fair enough. Back to me quickly. Watford Everton. I'll keep this brief just because we've got just got 3 more to cover. Watford Everton. Draw, I think.
Really?
What?
Sorry? I know. Go on. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think that two things with a draw is that, okay, I think that Watford obviously have improved a lot more. They've improved under Nigel Pearson, it's clearly without, and Carl Ancelotti has stabilized the ship. Calvert-Lewin has been scoring goals, Dream's been scoring goals, but I just do think that none of them have got that killer instinct yet, if that makes any sense, you know. So like they're doing better, but they don't have that kind of killer instinct that's like, right, okay, so we know that like they mean business. They just seem to sort of have just come into a good run of form, which
they were also in the top 3, you know. Like, don't forget, like I don't know I don't know like how they got themselves out of it, because they haven't. They're no better than what they were when they were in the bottom three. I guess it's just to do with the manager. It is Everton that you're talking about, isn't it?
Both Everton and Watford. So, but I sense the disdain in your voice there, Shawnee.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. They should have stayed down there.
Unfortunately, Everton are probably not going to be relegated, just like Burnley are probably not going to be relegated either. They are a good 7 points from Bournemouth, so I think they're probably going to be safe. But I suspect this will either be a 0-0 or 1-1 draw affair. Back to Shawnee and West Ham United home to Brighton.
Mm-hmm. So once again, because I think Liverpool is going to beat West Ham, the team, the manager needs to ask them to bounce back from that. And if I'm not mistaken, Brighton have actually done fairly decently. Well, actually, I think they've
that was a big blow because obviously that's now brought them into the relegation battle. But go on.
Yeah. Okay, so they've slightly dipped in form. So either way, it's going to be a good battle between them. I think West Ham are going to bounce back though, so I'm going to go with a West Ham victory, and say that West Ham 2, Brighton 1.
Okay.
You don't like Brighton at all. John bet against Brighton every podcast.
Yeah.
To be fair, he was right last week. They did lose. They did actually lose. So there you go. Right. Just quickly back to me, and before we go to Gus, because it's going to be United and Arsenal. We'll give City to Johnny. So United at home to Wolves. If I'm honestly, I'm actually quite scared. 5:30. As a part of me is wanting to go down there, but probably not be a good idea. With events on Sunday. But United versus Wolves, 5:30, guys. Yeah, it concerns me. I know we won the weekend. People saying, "Oh, we'll try and make 6 goals." It's good to sort of, but by this time the transfer window will be closed.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance United are not going to sign anybody. In which case, the squad that United are going to pick will be consistent of, if we're going to play Wolves, we're playing Martial, maybe Daniel James, Greenwood, Lingard, Fred and Matic should be playing all the games, and so on. And when you've got Jimenez, when you've got Neto, when you've got Domatroy who can basically boss teams. Yes, our defense is coming back, and I think Bailly can come back into the squad. But this is going to be a difficult game for Manchester United. I don't think Pogba will be back. I think maybe mid-February or second.
Wow.
Will be back.
Why? What happened?
Pogba.
Yeah. Is
he back in training? Is he?
No, I thought it was just like a small injury.
No, he had surgery.
He had to have surgery. Surgery. He is. I think he's come back to training. I think so much, which is helped. But I don't think he's going to be back fully fit until at least the second week in February. I think. So Fred and Matic are going to be in the midfield. Either this is going to be a 1-0 or we're going to. But so I'm going to try and be optimistic and hope, because I'm hoping that Leicester can do us a favour and beat Chelsea away. And if we can beat Wolves at Old Trafford and play some semi-decent football. We've got a comment, from Hakos. Thank you for joining, Hakos. It's late. Hakos says, "Hi guys, what do you think of Ashley Young providing an assist already for his first game into? Is it United's fault or Conte a genius? What do you think, guys?" I'll take that to. As a United fan, I'll say something. I'll say that at the end of the day, Conte is a better. Just for example, Conte is a better coach than Oli. He's got more experience than he is. So when he's signing his players, he's got a reason, he's got a plan. He's signing players, not just winning, with a purpose. And Syria, to be fair, is a slightly slower pace compared to the Premier League, but it suits players that want to defend. That's why people like Bonucci and even Buffon still there. Goodness knows how old they are. and they're doing well. Ashley Young is 34. You've got Zlatan, who's now there at 38. Ronaldo is 34. Bonucci, obviously, I says there. Chiellini. So you can play at the highest level at quite older ages in Serie A. And so you could possibly be at Inter Milan for at least another 2-3 seasons, to be honest, if they keep him fit. So yeah, but United are at fault, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think Serie A is a different kind of league. You know, Liechtenstein didn't even survive. Like when he came from Juve to Arsenal, he tried. He really did try. But I think he played like 4 or 5 games, and that was it. Serie A is completely different. A lot slower. So it was. To be honest, it was just good business from Inter. They've done a lot of good business. Actually, they needed a right wing back. They got one. Boom. Simple as that. Didn't have to spend loads and loads and loads. Just got what they wanted at a decent price, you know. So simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. I can't explain Ashley Young getting assist, to be completely honest. Sorry, Hackos. It's quite baffling to me as well. Because it is true. He's in a league now where maybe things are a little bit slower, a little bit easier for him to, because he's obviously used to Premier League pace. So maybe he was flying up that wing, thinking to himself, "Oh my goodness, I've just made it past 2 players." You know, who knows? But what do I think of it? I think that I don't know. Would you have Ashley Young back?
Oh,
in your current state?
I wouldn't have Ashley Young back because but he was. But to be honest, he actually didn't do that badly this season. To be honest,
yeah,
and it was good backup. And I just think it's just the fact that given the fact that we have tons of injuries, I think that's basically been our it's you look at the
would he be useful now?
Sorry,
would he be useful?
Yeah, because of how short our squad are, and I mean, Solskjaer said, you know, we've lost in this January transfer window. We've lost 2 players. We lost Ashley Young to Inter, and Rashford is now injured. So your squad is now depleted. So although Dalot is back and Brandon Williams is doing sort of well, you know, so and Shaw is obviously there, and so and Wan-Bissaka. So you have Wan-Bissaka right back, Dalot back up. You have Williams the left back, maybe Shaw back up or alternating. So you got cover there. But I think for me, Ashley Young, you know, with good experience, was at least a good backup option. But he wants more game time, and fair play to him, you know. So there you go. So I think that is that. But thank you for the comment, Hackos. Really, really appreciate it. Just literally going back to, I guess it was the prediction, was just round things up. I predict a 1-0 result to Manchester United. I think, fingers crossed, we can grind it out. 1-0 to Manchester United. Now, Joshy, you there?
Hello.
Yep. So Arsenal away to Burnley. Burnley.
Tough one. We beat them early in the season, right at the start of the season. Really kind of convincingly, to be honest. And honestly, I'm thinking it's going to be the same result. Although Mustafi just picked up an injury in the game just there. He was playing really well. It looked quite nasty, to be honest. It could have been maybe a broken leg, or like broken. Oh, it didn't look good. That's just you know. So we're already short. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But the pace in the game that we just showed there was very high tempo. I don't know if Burnley are going to be able to. I don't know if Burnley are going to be able to keep up with that. If they
how Burnley will play. Like it's essentially what they did against United. Just Solskjaer was completely inept at understanding it. They're not going to go for the ball. They're just going to long the ball. Like they're just going to play long ball up to Wood and Barnes if they're fit. and try and rustle up your defenders. That's literally how Burnley are going to play.
Yeah, they always do.
The question is, will the defenders be able to deal with a Barnes, and so on? Would that be enough and not give?
I think David Luiz is suspended.
What?
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, he is. So who's playing then? Who'll be in your defense?
You don't want to know.
I don't know.
No Mustafi, no David Luiz. Where's Socrates?
He's here, but I don't know who's going to be next to him.
So what about
I mean, like it's funny. Like we actually our injury list is incredible, but we just get on with it. We just get on with it.
I mean, our injury list is probably worse than yours, but I mean, but it's fine.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's
Just
much
because it's popular.
No, we've got obviously. So we've got at least 4 first teamers out. So Pogba's out, McTominay's out, Rashford's out. Who else am I missing? I guess no, Maguire's not out, but he's playing with a hip injury. And then obviously you've got Bailly, and then he literally just come back. Anyway, I won't go into Manchester United sort of thing, but we've struggled and we haven't brought players in. But you still think Arsenal get it done? So what's the score prediction?
I'm gonna go with 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. Okay. Fine. Lastly, last but not least, the big one actually. Tottenham versus City. Tottenham host to City. Shawnee, do you think Spurs can take further points off City?
No, I don't think so. I think City. If they don't pick it up now, they're just not going to pick it up at all. And I've been saying this a few times now. I don't know why I expect so much from City, but I've definitely been expecting miles more from City than what they've been showing. And they got a draw a game ago, didn't they? So last game they won. The game before that they drew against someone. Who was it that they drew against?
Man City. It was Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, yeah. So they drew against Crystal Palace. There's a couple of results that I haven't expected. I don't think they're gonna draw against. Are they away to Tottenham?
Yeah, they're away to Tottenham. Yeah.
Okay. So, nah, I'm still gonna go with a City win. I don't know. Tottenham still haven't been that impressive. They got their first win under Mourinho. Just on the last game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is that going to fill him with confidence? Son's back as well. He's also looking sharp. Shall I go with a draw or shall I go with a City win? I don't think City are going to lose. So I'm just going to go with City nicking it. Nail biter, 3-2.
Nail biter, 3-2. Okay, fair enough. Hackos just says allow me to, but I thought it was bleep because I can't swear on camera. But even Smalling looks like Maldini right now. That is true, actually. Smalling looks like he's playing quite well right now. So it just seems to be the Serie A. It just seems to be what it is. But that's basically our show. Thank you so much. A shorter one this week. Thanks everyone for watching and getting involved. If you're new to the channel and if you're going to be watching back, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Thank you so much for everybody that's watching. It's basically just bye from everyone here. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Shawnee, and thank you, Josh.
Thanks, old man G.
Have a nice day, guys. And cheers. We are finished.